Hello everyone, Stephanie Davis here today. I'm going to be sharing my interactive floating octopus card with you, and it is an interactive card which also is a shaker card. So I'm going to be using several sets from Fawn and several dies, and I was briefly sharing with you what sets I'm going to be using, but I will have them all linked below to the discount shops wherever I can find coupon codes and everything like that. So just open the description box if you're needing to know if I forget to mention something. So I'm going to be using stamp sets Octopi My Heart, Year 6, So Jelly, and Fantastic Friends. All super cute images, and I'm going to be stamping and inking them with Memento Tuxedo Black ink because I'm going to be coloring these with Copics. So I've got those all stamped out, and I'm going to clean it with my little scrubber. It's very wet today because I ran it under the sink to clean it, and it's very sudsy now. So I'm flipping over my mat because I want to use a non-slip side so I don't have to get my hands messy because I don't like to get messy. And I'm picking out my distress inks. I'm picking, what did I use today? Tumbled Glass, Mermaid Lagoon, Cracked Pistachio, and Evergreen Bough. And I get a lot of questions about how to blend well. I don't pounce my little ink blending tool. I scrub it. I scrub the ink in. These are not too well loved yet, so they need a little extra love. And so I scrub that ink in, and that's how I get it to blend well. So I just go around the edges and light to dark. I try to get the darker on the edges and lighter on the inside. And I just continue to blend until I like it. So it doesn't take too awful long. I am using Bristol Smooth cardstock, which makes it lots easier, but you can really do this on any paper. I think the Bristol Smooth just is kind of a little shortcut. So I'm getting a good blend, and then I will put the lids and move all this aside and clean my mat and flip it back over to the normal side that's not non-slip. And I'm going to put a little bit of tumbled glass and cracked pistachio and some perfect pearls on my mat and do my normal, you guys know the drill. I mix it with water and I sprinkle it all over, and then I don't take a paper towel and dry it. Oh, here I added more perfect pearls because I did not have enough sparkle. I needed more sparkle. So I set that aside to dry because I think it enlarges the little dots, and it does magic things when you let it dry on its own. So now I'm coloring the octopus. I'm using V1, V15, and V9. I like to go lightest to darkest, and with my darkest, I try to do as thin line as possible because I really just want like an accent. And then I'll go back with a medium shade and blend that out, and then again with the lightest. And for a larger image like this, I will color the bottom portion and then the top portion because I think it's easier to blend if the markers is all wet still, the paper's wet. So I don't outline the whole image, I just do parts of it because I really want to have highlights like on the top of this. I don't really concerned about directional light or anything like that. I can't be bothered to pre-plan where the light's coming from because most of the time when I'm coloring or creating a card, I'm just playing and having fun. So I'm adding some dots, and I tend to use my lightest and medium shade and blend them together to make my dots because I like to make my own special color. And now I'm going in with a V1, and I'm just adding more dots, and it kind of blends it out, but it looks really cute, I think. And now I'm using a white gel pen to just put some more dots and just make it even more special. And I was trying to just make some of them small, and then I would go back and double up a few of them to make them a little larger. And then now I'm adding a little, I don't know what you call that, just a little highlight. So now I'm coloring the oyster, And I decided I wanted this to look really like the inside of a shell. So that's why I'm combining some blue shades and some purple shades. So there's quite a few. I will link them all below. They'll be at the very bottom of the post because it's going to be a long paragraph about all the Copics I used. I'm not going to be coloring all the images because I will bore you guys to death. I'm only going to color 3, but I will link all the Copic colors I used so you can follow along. And I do the same thing when I color light to dark. I really don't do anything special. So if you can see, I'm using E41 and E43 to color the shell of the oyster, and I just go light to dark and blend it out, and I don't ever blend it all the way. I always add a little more dark in certain areas just because I can't help myself, I think. Okay, so now I'm coloring the jellyfish, and for the jellyfish I'm using R11, R22, and R24, and I'm just coloring the bottom section because I really want the darker color to be on the bottom and the upper part to be really light. So I'm blending them out, and I just go light, medium, dark, and back with lighter. So here's my darkest shade, the R24, and I'm going to go just really thinly because I kind of just want to give just a hint of that color. And now I'm going to blend it out with the R22, and then I'll go back with the R11 and blend it thoroughly. And then of course that's not good enough. I've got to add dots because I just can't help myself. But I think it really adds a lot of interest and makes them look individual when you do a little something like that. So again, I'm blending the light with the medium shade. And these images are just so cute, and they're really fun to color. And I've been really inspired. We've been, as many of you know, you've been with me a while, we moved, gosh, a little over a year ago to the West, and we were supposed to move to California, and then we got transferred again. But we were in California for quite a while, so we were going to Monterey all the time and going to the aquarium. We had a season pass, and we're going there. So I was really inspired by the beach. So that's why I can't get enough of these sea creatures, I'm sure. Now I'm using Wink Stella, and I'm doing everything except for the shell of the oyster. Because like I said, I really like some glitter. And I just slather it on. I really can't get enough. I need like a paintbrush for that thing. Okay, so now I'm taking the Sakura glaze pen, and this I'm going to go over the eyes. And this gives a real pearlescence and shiny quality. So I just pounced this all over and filled in that whole shell. And that really made it look like the inside of a shell. I don't know if I could get it in the pictures, but you have to try it. And now I'm trying to fix the highlight because my pen wasn't working the best. It's probably time for another one, or I should have ran it along my finger, but it wasn't cooperating. But I powered through and I made the best of it. And now I wanted to show you what it looks like if you do this again and do the glossy accents over it. It looks so cute. So I just wanted to show you an example of what else you can do. So now I'm putting the dies, and I'm going to cut the front panel of the card, and I just used 2 dies together. I will have them linked down below. And now I'm making the frame for the circle, and I just cut a bigger circle and a medium circle. So I basically did 2 of the panels because I wanted to have one as a guide and then one as my actual card panel. So here's my foam. I've been using this forever for my shaker cards. I do use foam tape also, but sometimes I think it's easier just to use foam. This happens to be foam that has adhesive already on it. So now I'm going to ink up the actual card panel and clean my stamps and put my MISTI away. So now I'm going to start getting everything ready to assemble. Whenever you do shaker card, I always think it's easier to kind of do like a preliminary put together to make sure you don't mess anything up. And now I'm going to get ready to make the little holder for the octopus, and this is how you make it float. I just use some strong acetate. You can't just use normal sheet acetate, it's not strong enough. You can use any kind of packaging, and I'm using my corner chomper to make the edges more finished. And you just kind of want to like think of a large popsicle stick. That's basically, sorry I was going off frame just a little, but it's basically just a clear, kind of a, not a popsicle stick, what's it called, the bigger ones. So it's basically that, but it's clear. And so now I'm taking my ATG gun and I'm applying adhesive. And I kind of messed up here because I shouldn't have done this bottom section. So that's where I just put some cardstock over it. You don't want that sticky because that's where the octopus is going to slide around. So now I'm putting my acetate sheet over that. And I'm going to go ahead and slide it through and make sure it's going to fit. And I'm putting my frame. Excuse me. So now I'm going to stick it through and go ahead and assemble the rest of my card and make sure that I don't, I kind of needed a sign, or maybe I needed another cup of coffee. I was afraid I was going to forget and glue something where it didn't go. So now I'm just using some glue and adhering all of my images, and I had coordinating dies for all of these, but I did fussy cut out the Oyster because since that was the front image, I just wanted it to look a little different. So I popped it up on foam tape, and now I'm gluing the jellyfish to the outside, and then the starfish is going to go on the inside. So I just used a, getting my crafty foam ready to go. I do like using this though because I don't have as much stickiness to the inside of shaker cards. Plus I just don't like going around in a circle with the foam tape myself. But there's just lots of ways to make shaker cards. So now I'm making basically a pocket, and I'm just putting the adhesive on the two sides. You don't want in the middle because that would make it where the octopus wouldn't slide around. And I'm testing as I go. So here I'm showing how I use the extra one that I made. It's just going to make an easier guide to see where to put it, and I'm still going to be testing it as long as I go. But it kind of makes it easier to give me a guide of where to put all the images. So I'm just using my tweezers and adding adhesive and putting them back where I think they should go. This was a really fun card to make. And then I have my card base. I usually have these pre-made, and I think it's easier to go ahead and attach the back panel to the card base and then add the sequins and then put the shaker card together. So I'm using some various sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. They're all Pretty Pink Posh. And some seed beads also. And then I'm just using my ATG gun. I usually use my Xyron actually, but it was downstairs and I was too lazy to go get it, so I'm using my ATG gun. But it really does well. You just go everywhere. And then I use my tweezers to make sure there's no extra adhesive off the sides. And then assemble the card, and it's all finished. And now you have a cute little shaker card with a floating octopus. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.